Good morning. Welcome to Plugged In. We'll be in Genesis 39 right after this. And welcome back on this sunny morning. There's forecast of snow. We don't need that. But there's a pretty big forecast of it coming. And let's just get the elephant out of the room. I know that there's a number of you and myself who are disappointed at the outcome of last night's game. On a personal note, I think that I would have been okay if they lost if they just played a little harder, but that's just me. It was a good game for a while. You kind of hoped that the magic would happen, but it didn't. But hey, you know what? I woke up this morning and life is still going on, and our world does not revolve around that. I'm glad that you're with us each week, and I want to invite you to turn to Genesis 39. Going to fast forward to a story about Joseph here. And as you're turning there, I want to read for you an interesting little tidbit. I came across this some years ago, and I've put this in my file. I thought this was some interesting information. In the Australian bush country, there grows this little plant. It's called the sundew. It has some a slender stem, and it has tiny round leaves fringed with hairs that glisten with bright drops of liquid. The liquid is as fine as dew. But woe to the insect that dares to dance on this particular plant. It has these attractive clusters of red and white and pink blossoms. It seems harmless. The leaves, though, are deadly. The shiny moisture on each leaf is sticky and will imprison any bug that touches it. As an insect struggles to free itself, the vibration causes the leaves to close tightly around it, and the innocent-looking plant then feeds on its victim. It's a little bit of an illustration on the topic of temptation. Something might look good to the eye, appealing to the mind, luring. But if we're not careful, when we play with, fire, as the old saying goes, then we're going to be burned. Joseph does not play with fire. He makes it very clear to a woman where he stands. But that does not still mean that the temptation wasn't there. So if you have your Bibles, I want you to see this moment in which we see the integrity and the character of Joseph, this young man, stand very strong. This woman is very persistent. What we do is we find out that he has made his way to Egypt. Joseph has. He is now in the house of Potiphar. Potiphar has put him over all the things of the house. He's in charge of those things. And Potiphar has to leave on a business trip. And so he leaves behind Joseph to take care of the affairs of the home and the business there, and also he leaves behind his wife. And here's how the story unfolds, the last part of chapter 39, last part of verse 6, and then following. Now Joseph was well built and handsome. And after a while, his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." I mean, she doesn't mince any words. She doesn't give any subtle hints. She just blatantly comes right out with this. She said, "Come to bed with me." But he refused. "With me in charge," he told her, "my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns, he has entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then can I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her. I mean, he didn't even want to be in the same room with her. Potiphar's wife was very persistent. We don't really know why. The background is not given to us in the story. But she is very persistent. She is constantly on the prowl for Joseph to satisfy her personal desires. Her seductions and seductiveness failed with him, though. What has always intrigued me about this chapter in Joseph's life is his commitment to God. If you notice, he does not say to this woman, "I would be hurting you if I did this." He doesn't say, "I'd be sinning against your husband." He doesn't say, "I'd be sinning against myself." Any of those excuses under such pressure could be rationalized away. What Joseph said is this: "How then can I do a wicked thing and sin against God?" Sexual temptations are strong. Sexual sin is not just between two consenting adults. It is an act of disobedience against God. This story is about sexual temptations, but there are a number of temptations that we face, and some just as dangerous. Here's some questions I want to pose for you for this morning as we wind this up, and some solutions. Very simply, what settings do you put yourself into? Avoid them. What props do you have that support your desires? Eliminate them. What people are you usually with? Avoid them. The Apostle Paul would say to the church in Corinth, "Bad company corrupts good character." Joseph was a man of good character, a man of good moral conduct, a man of integrity. It doesn't mean that he wasn't intrigued by her come-on lines. He was a man. But he knew the right thing to do and stood strong. You would think that because of that, he is given a great reward for that. We'll find out next week that sometimes even beating temptation doesn't bring about immediate reward. Thank you for joining us this week on Plugged In. Look forward to seeing you and being with you each week, and we'll see you next Monday. Plugged In.